economic cycle, which is also called the business cycle, is the tendency of economic activity to fluctuate around its long-run underlying trend rate of growth. So the green line on the graph represents the long-run underlying trend rate of growth, which is approximately 2.5%. This is the average rate of economic growth over a period of time. Whereas the pink line represents how actual GDP fluctuates around the trend rate of growth. And this rate depends on supply-side factors such as long-term investment, education, and training. When actual GDP is less than the trend rate, we have a negative output gap. And when actual GDP exceeds the trend rate, we have a positive output gap. So the output gap is just referring to the difference between actual and potential output. Economic growth is the rate of increase in real GDP. Real GDP is adjusted for changes in the price level. Now let's take a closer look at the different stages of the economic cycle. An expansion is when the economy is growing. Here, unemployment is low. Consumption and investment are both high. The demand for goods and services is also growing, therefore so is inflation. At this point, the economy is growing in a healthy and sustained way. Point 2 is called the peak. This is when the economy reaches maximum growth and we come to the end of the expansion stage, just before economic growth starts to contract. The contraction stage is when economic growth begins to slow down, unemployment rises, and GDP falls below the target level of 2%. It then reaches the trough stage. This is the lowest part of the economic cycle. Here, growth is very low and so is inflation. Unemployment is high and it's just before the economy will begin to expand again. A recession is defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative growth. Here, aggregate demand is falling, unemployment is rising, business confidence is low, therefore so is investment. The government begin to borrow more so they can increase spending on goods and services without increasing taxation. On the other hand, an economic recovery is when aggregate demand is rising. Consumers have more disposable income, therefore the demand for goods and services increases. Because of this, business confidence is also high and it leads to an increase in investment spending.